So open wide there, Gregory.
Okay.
Train's coming into the station, Gregory.
Bring it in.
Suck 'em up. Choo-choo!
Oh, yeah.
Good boy, Gregory.
A lot of things have been happening concerning England in the news recently. What with the whole EU situation, that's probably quite outdated by the time this video is out. This got me thinking, what can Britain really call its own and be proud of? Cartoon-wise, that is, whoa! As a fellow Brit, I get a lot of enjoyment from others in the country's creations. Hot Fuzz, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, and I Hate Everything's YouTube channel are just some of my favourites. And though I'm not a huge fan of it, The Inbetweeners is a really funny and accurate look on teenage life here in the UK. It's a bit too close to home, that one. But what about cartoons, huh? A few big names come to mind, like Wallace and Gromit and Peppa Pig. Heck, Peppa Pig's got her own theme park at this point. But who cares about those shows? Let's talk about Channel 4's super edgy family life cartoon, Full English. When I first heard of the show in 2012, I was actually pretty excited. It's gonna be something like Family Guy or South Park, but for Brits, I thought. They use words like mum and crisps. I can't really remember much of what I thought of it back then, so let's give it another watch today. Well, there goes any respect I had for myself and this country. We're really in for a treat this time, aren't we? Full English is a severely untalked about show, and I can definitely see why because of the overall poor quality in my opinion.
Maybe I should do a little dance.
Don't do that, Dan.
Gosh, even trying to search for this show is a pain. No, I do not want to watch Animation Movies 2015 full movie English cartoon for children funny movies for kids. Now see if you can get where this review is going just by watching the intro. It shows off each of the main characters and only lets us know what relation they are in the family. We meet Edgar, simply titled the dad, Ken, the father-in-law, Eve, the youngest child, and so forth. Now there's nothing wrong with this at first. Pretty innocent, just letting you know where everyone stands in the family. The problem is, this is where what we learn about the characters pretty much stops. Forever.
Got no skills.
Undermining me in front of my son, eh? Classic Ken.
Their whole personality throughout the 6-episode series just revolves around being the mum who does mum stuff, the father-in-law who hates the guy his daughter is married to, the daughter who, go on, guess, yeah, she's an emo, and that's pretty much a whole character already written. They're not even really stereotypes or parodies, they're just kind of bland, and not even thought out further than, oh, he's the dad, better make him the generic boring dad guy.
Shinobi sex move.
But at the end of the day, this is a comedy. Who cares about well-written characters? We've just got to focus on the jokes, right? So let's have a look at this comedy, the main draw of the show. Well, from the word go, you get a pretty good idea for what you're in for the rest of this cartoon. It's super over-the-top offensive. Ooh, Sonny, my favourite. You might be seeing a pattern now. This show never changes and is super predictable throughout the whole thing. The first episode is about the daughter, Eve, trying to get famous through the popular talent show Britain's Got Talent. They make a joke about people only getting far in the competition because they have tragic backstories, and boy oh boy do they like to bring it up and remind you of that all the time. No variations, nothing added each time, they just want to milk this joke as absolutely dry as they possibly can. Again, this stuff happens for every episode.
Stop! Stop! Stop it!
It's like that person that makes a funny joke once, and then they have to make that same joke over and over and over again until everyone around them eventually just responds with, heh. Hey look, it's Anton Deck. Huh.
That man has an incredibly spacious asshole.
Unlike some people.
Wait, who's this guy? He's not in the theme song like the other characters. They're never established who he is earlier in this episode, or later in the scene. Is he the uncle or something? A family friend? A housemate? Who's this random anus guy, and why is he in their house? As a matter of fact, they don't really establish who any of these characters are properly. No, the theme song doesn't count, as it's quite obvious this guy is the dad and this girl is the mum. But what are they like? What's their motives? Why should we care about what happens to them? My word, they act like we're 3 seasons in and everyone already knows what these characters are like.
Oh, right, yeah. yeah, and then what happened?
In fact, when they do add context to these characters, like the daughter, whose every piece of dialogue revolves around being emo in the first episode, they just change it for the rest of the series to making her dialogue revolving around eating loads of food, just so they can make seemingly endless jokes about fat people.
Burger King! Who said Burger King?
Whatever, I'm just gonna call this character Anus Guy from now on, who by the way, it turns out to be the dad's friend. They explain this in episode 4! Now this is the part where I'd usually talk about some more of the episodes, but I'm finding it really hard to come up with something to say, guys. I apologise if all I'm talking about is how the show is structured, but it's really not giving me much to work with in terms of actual content.
Taste my nuts!
It seems to pride itself on its outrageous humour, which just seems really boring to me. But again, comedy is very, very subjective, and what I might find doesn't work in a joke, you might love. If this show seems like something that appeals to you, then by all means check it out and see what you think of it for yourself. If you liked it, then that's awesome! I hope you had a great time. I just personally think the comedy isn't very well executed. Full English often goes for an approach to a joke in one of three ways. The first would be poking fun at characters' shortcomings, but as I said earlier, I don't feel this works because they really don't establish their, characters very well.
Let's laugh at her for daring to try.
The second would be poking fun at pop culture and celebrities. Now, I will admit, it was cool seeing all these celebrities, as Brits know really well.
I'm Jamie Oliver. I'm here from the future.
But when they actually go for the punchline on any of these celebrities, it's either that they're either A, mentally insane, B, perverted, or C, deserve to die. I'm sorry, but that's just not funny or clever to me.
I am the Lemon Master. Feel my zest.
Another thing to note about the humour is that it's trying very, very hard to be offensive. I said in my first video that I liked the show Clone High for how stupid it is, and how it doesn't care whom it offends. The difference there is that Clone High gives us time to digest what on earth's going on. It allows us to learn all the quirks of the characters and pokes fun of them later. The over-the-top visuals and voice acting complement the crude nature of the show. A lot of subtle additions can make something very similar feel very different. The same thing goes for the show I talked about in my last video, F is for Family, which uses the crudeness to show off how messed up the real world was back in the 1970s. It's just a bunch of odd jokes that's punchlines are always just sex, gore, or swearing, strung together lazily with no flow and then tries to force us to be invested. It's just a mess! I'm not saying it's a bad show because it's crude. I'm saying it's a bad show because it's not thought out well. The pacing is all over the place and it still manages to be dreadfully boring.
Take it easy, it's just a drawing.
Good grief. I almost wanted to stop 3 episodes in, but I read up an article saying that there was a lot of controversy in the 6th and final episode. It was very close to not even being made from what I've heard. This did genuinely interest me, so I pressed on with the show. Oh hey, I just realised we haven't even talked about the voice acting yet. Let's give it a listen.
I have an interview today, and I have said...
It makes me angry, Tom!
Okay, never mind.
It makes me angry!
Oh, here comes the train, one of the, loudest vehicles ever. It just makes this little squeak noise. It's kind of adorable, actually. Goodness gracious, don't even get me started on how many sex jokes there are in this show. I lost count in the bagillions area.
Just looking at you makes me tingle and it makes me feel so excited that I don't know what to do with myself!
Ah yes, we made it to episode 6. Let's see just how amazingly controversial this one is. Well, nothing much really happened if I'm honest with you. Some stuff about people in caravans and tons and tons and tons of forced nudity. How lovely.
So angry I could flipping break something.
Well, there you go, that's full English for you. It got cancelled after 6 episodes in 2012. If you're looking for a show that makes fun of British celebrities and culture in a very crude way, then by all means, give it a watch. Personally, I found it a bit too all over the place in structure, and its jokes were more or less the same each time around. But thanks so much for watching, bye.
That makes me angry!